What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Thursday, July 11th, 2024, and I have some breaking news to share with you guys. Right now, it is 22:53 Eastern Time here in the United States, and we have some major breaking news coming in from China and also from Europe and here in the United States. So the Kremlin's spokesman, Dmitry Peskov, responded to the news that the U.S. plans to deploy long-range missiles to Germany, and he said that all the attributes of the Cold War are returning, including direct confrontation. Germany, USA, France, Great Britain are all involved in the conflict around Ukraine. Wow. So he's blaming Western Europe, the US, for being directly involved in the conflict in Ukraine, saying that deploying the long-range missiles to Germany would return the possibility of direct confrontation with Russia. And if you missed my updates yesterday and earlier today, the U.S. is going to be deploying Tomahawk missiles, SM-6 missiles, and hypersonic missiles to Germany. Specifically, they're going to be deploying the Typhoon missile system, which they've already deployed to the Philippines. And they're also going to be deploying Dark Eagle. Now, the Typhoon missile system is basically an 18-wheeler. And in the trailer, there's silos that can be lifted up. Okay, an erector launcher basically, and they can erect the silo up and they can use those silos to launch either Tomahawk missiles, which are nuclear capable. They can carry the W-80 thermonuclear warhead, and then also they can launch the SM-6 interceptor missile, which is used in the Aegis Ashore missile defense systems that the U.S. has set up in Poland and in Romania. They can shoot down ICBMs, and then also the Dark Eagle missile system, which is a true hypersonic missile. And also they're going to be deploying the Dark Eagle missile, which is a true hypersonic missile, unlike Russia's fake hypersonic missiles, which are just air-launched ballistic missiles. But this Dark Eagle missile can fly Mach 17 and has a range of 2,000 miles. So it's basically a medium-range ballistic missile for all intents and purposes. Okay, so this is very, very serious, guys. Russia basically blaming the U.S. for being involved in Ukraine. And the U.S. Coast Guard is reporting that Chinese warships entered the U.S. exclusive economic zone near Alaska yesterday. So let me just read this to you. This is coming from the Associated Press. A U.S. Coast Guard cutter on routine patrol in the Bering Sea came across several Chinese warships in international waters, but within the U.S. exclusive economic zone, officials said. The crew detected 3 vessels approximately 124 miles north of Amchitka Pass in the Aleutian Islands, the Coast Guard said in a statement Wednesday. A short time later, a helicopter aircrew from Coast Guard Air Station Kodiak spotted a 4th ship approximately 84 miles north of Amchitka Pass. All 4 of the People's Republic of China vessels were transiting in international waters, but still inside the U.S. exclusive economic zone, which extends 200 nautical miles from the U.S. shoreline, the statement said. The Chinese vessels told the Coast Guard their purpose for being there was freedom of navigation operations. The Coast Guard did not respond to questions about how long the Chinese ships were in the exclusive economic zone, but said the Kimball and an aircrew monitored them until they transited south of the Aleutian Islands and into the northern Pacific Ocean. The sighting of the ships came a week after the Chinese Navy began its annual joint patrol with the Russian Navy in the Pacific Ocean. And this update was sponsored by Patriot Supply. Guys, Patriot Supply is doing a discount on their 1-month emergency food supply. And to get the deal, you got to go to preparewithnyprepper.com, and the link is in the description below this video. This is a 1-month freeze-dried food supply. It has a 25-year shelf life. Normal price is $237. They've dropped it down to $177. So that's a savings of $60. And it's all packed within 2 rugged, water-resistant buckets. Free shipping is included. $177 for 1 month of food. Where are you going to find a deal like that? They also have a general store, and they're always running discounts in their general store on various prepping and survival items. They have everything from MREs, potassium iodide, to survival seeds. And to get to their general store, you got to click on the Patriot Supply logo at the top of the page when you get to preparewithnyprepper.com. And you'll see when you get there, they have everything you can imagine. So use the link preparewithnyprepper.com to get $60 off the Patriot Supply 1 month emergency food supply. That's $180 for 1 month of food, free shipping included. The link is in the description below this video. And also check out their general store. They have everything you can imagine prepping and survival related, and they're always running various discounts there. So this is absolutely huge news, guys. Okay, a bunch of Chinese warships getting as close as 84 miles from Alaska in the exclusive economic zone of Alaska. Absolutely insane. Now, in addition to this, we have some footage coming out of China showing a Chinese military truck with a missile. Okay, check this out, guys. You can see this truck here being transported on another truck, and it has a missile on the back of it, okay? And this was in Guangzhou, the city of Guangzhou. This was reported by locals. So looks like China is moving missiles close to Taiwan, because this is near Taiwan, okay? And China is secretly building a military base in Tajikistan. The construction of this base took almost 10 years. Here we have a satellite image showing this base. This is being reported by the UK Telegraph. The military facility is located in a remote mountainous area at an altitude of 4,000 meters. It houses observation towers and hosts military personnel from China and Tajikistan. So very, very concerning. We also have U.S. nuclear forces on high alert this evening. We had probably 5 or 6 nuclear war command and control planes in the air today. We also had 2 presidential doomsday planes in the air. One flew all the way up to Lake Superior, and then another one went to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, which is considered to be the Area 51 of the East. But here you can see a bunch of U.S. nuclear war command and control planes in the air this evening. This was sometime around, 20:00 hours Eastern time. And here you can see a B-52 that was airborne as well, and then also a nuke sniffer. Okay, so nuclear forces in the U.S. are on high alert for some reason. We also had another Russian nuclear war radar activated this evening as well. There were a bunch of emergency action messages. And here we have a reconnaissance drone that was patrolling the coast of North Carolina. And then we also had more sub-hunters off the coast of Florida. One went out into the Gulf, and then one went out into the Atlantic. So it's possible that these Russian warships and subs are still off our coastline, guys. Okay, I've probably never seen one of these U.S. Navy recon drones looping like this off the coast of North Carolina for an entire evening. This is pretty unusual. And there was also an aerial refueler there as well. So this drone here was looking for something off the coast of North Carolina near the Outer Banks, and it took off from Patuxent River, which is a very secretive, high-priority military base, one of the most important bases in the entire U.S. We currently have several U.S. Air Force aerial refuelers going over the Atlantic heading to Europe. We also had one loop over northern Maine, which is pretty interesting because this is usually the area where they refuel bombers that are going overseas. So if we send B-52s, B-1s, B-2s, Usually they refuel over Maine or New England before they make their journey across the Atlantic. So it's possible that some bombers are going over to Europe now or the Middle East, because we had 2 aerial refuelers go over the Atlantic and then 1 loop over Maine. We also have an aerial refueler off the coast of New Jersey here, which is pretty unusual, pretty far out in the Atlantic off the coast of New Jersey. Want to just play this sound clip of the Russian nuclear war radar that was turned on this evening. And the Dutch Royal Navy escorted 3 Russian naval vessels in the North Sea last weekend that were in the exclusive economic zone of the Netherlands. This was reported by the commander of the Naval Forces, Vice Admiral René Tass, via Twitter. This is not the first time that the Navy has escorted Russian ships through the exclusive economic zone. In December last year, this happened to a Russian fleet consisting of a frigate, submarine, and accompanying tug. At that time, they were escorted by the air defense and command frigate ZRMS De Ruyter and an NH-90 maritime combat helicopter. Russian units often sail through the zone mentioned. An internationally agreed rite of passage applies here. Nevertheless, the Netherlands accompanies these types of fleets. This is to emphasize vigilance. Since July last year, escorting non-NATO ships on the North Sea has been a permanent task of the Netherlands. So this is very serious, guys. Last weekend, Russian warships went through the exclusive economic zone of the Netherlands, potentially on their way to the Baltic Sea. We don't know, but we do know that multiple allies of NATO are going to start mining the Baltic Sea, guys. Okay, they've already formed a coalition to procure a bunch of sea mines, and they're going to mine the crap out of the Baltic Sea. And U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said today that the U.S. is working with Ukraine on a forceful response to the attack on the Children's Hospital in the capital of Ukraine by Russia. We are working to address this attack and will respond with force, Sullivan said. Wow. So don't be surprised if we see a massive strike on Crimea in the coming days. Okay, this could potentially escalate into a very serious situation. And Dmitry Medvedev, the former president of Russia, said that Russia must do everything so that Ukraine's path to NATO ends either with the disappearance of Ukraine or the disappearance of NATO. Wow, strong words there. And Ukraine's foreign ministry said at the NATO summit that they don't want to wait another 75 years to join NATO. And the governor of the Belgorod region in Russia claims that 5 Russian children were wounded as a result of a Ukrainian drone attack in the town of Shebekino. And according to Greek press, Greece, Romania, and Bulgaria plan to establish a new military transportation route that will reduce the strategic importance of the Bosphorus Strait and diminish Turkey's geopolitical influence in the region. So if you guys are not aware, Turkey controls the entrance to the Black Sea. Okay, if they want to, according to international agreements, they can close entrance and exit from the Black Sea. Okay, all ships that enter or exit the Black Sea have to go through the Bosphorus Strait, which is controlled by Turkey. So NATO is basically working on a way to bypass that so they can go through on land somehow. And satellite images show a fire burning near the Russian airfield of Novofedorivka in Crimea, and there have been multiple fires raging in Crimea the past 24 hours, very large fires. The causes of the fires are not known. And the Ukraine war has apparently left Russia's border with China very weak, according to new satellite images revealed by Newsweek. In the city of Khabarovsk, located 19 miles from the Chinese-Russian border, 11 out of the 17 transporter erector launchers deployed at the base were relocated, And on the island of Sakhalin, located just 25 miles north of Japan's island of Hokkaido, all 7 transporter erector launchers were moved from their base. So this is very interesting, guys, and I've said for many years now that China could potentially attack Russia at some point in the future and try to take Siberia back, okay, and try to take all the resources in Siberia because China is running out of fresh water, they're running out of minerals, they're running out of timber, and they don't have room for their people, so they need more land. They need to expand their territory, okay? And I think what China's doing is they're just waiting for the right opportunity when Russia collapses or after the nuclear war between Russia and the U.S., China's going to go in and take all of Siberia to the Urals. So I think we're going to see that happen eventually. And the U.S. State Department tried to prevent Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi from visiting Russia, the Washington Post reported, citing sources in the U.S. administration. Sources note that this week there was widespread concern in Joe Biden's administration regarding the timing of the meeting between Modi and Putin. U.S. Deputy Secretary of State Kurt Campbell contacted Indian Foreign Minister Vinay Quatra in early July, hoping to delay Modi's trip, which coincided with the NATO summit in Washington, sources say. Wow, so very interesting. And here we have the flight path of a Predator drone that was flying along the border of Canada. This was near the tri-border of North Dakota, Minnesota, and Canada, and it was just flying back and forth here along the border of Canada. So very, very interesting and very unusual. And the South Korean government has unveiled a laser-based anti-aircraft weapon. And here we have some video footage showing this thing in action. It's going to be deployed with the South Korean Army very, very soon. So here you can see this thing engaging targets in the air. Absolutely insane. Check that out. This would work really well for Ukraine for shooting down drones, okay? And as you can see, it's not really a huge system. It's pretty small. It can easily be moved around. Okay, it's just this little box here, it looks like. I'm sure there's associated radars with it. But, I mean, this could easily be fitted onto a truck and transported wherever it's needed. This would be perfect for Ukraine. And remember, South Korea said they were going to give Ukraine some air defenses. Maybe they're going to give them these lasers, but that looks absolutely insane. How cool is that? And Biden met with Zelensky today and confirmed that the U.S. is going to give Ukraine more HIMARS ammo, more artillery ammo, more air defense ammo, and a Patriot battery. And the Stromboli volcano in Sicily has started erupting again. Check this out, guys. Look at that huge plume of ash. Absolutely insane. So that's pretty much it for this one, guys. I will be back tomorrow with more breaking news, but just make sure you're getting prepared because things are really spiraling out of control in Europe. And I do believe also that Israel is on the verge of going into Lebanon to deal with Hezbollah. And then also we have China sending a record number of warships and warplanes into the Taiwan Strait. Yesterday they sent 56 warplanes into Taiwan's air defense identification zone, a combination of fighter jets, nuclear bombers, and radar planes. So China's definitely planning something, but I will be monitoring all these events and I will be updating you guys accordingly. So make sure you're subscribed. Hit the bell icon down below so you get notified when I post these updates. And don't rely on the notifications. Periodically check my channel maybe once or twice a day to see if you didn't miss anything, because YouTube always has issues with the notification system here. But I will be back tomorrow with more breaking news. So until then, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps. Prepare, practice, and persevere.